Hey everybody, this is Alzorath, and welcome to a game about feeding a black hole. You may remember the demo for a while back, and I enjoyed it then. Now we're going to be jumping into the full version. Full disclosure, I have played through the full version once already. Unfortunately, my recording software completely borked it up, so we're going to play it again to show it off, because I actually enjoyed it. We did it in 2.5 hours, so that was a lot of wasted time because of my recording software. We're going to do a new game, though. We're not going to jump straight into it. We're going to actually show you the progress and stuff like that. It's going to be slow at first. Trust me on this one. But thankfully, the little meteors and comets and asteroids and all that stuff have health bars now. Obviously, we have a very, very weak... It's not even a click. It's literally just idle your mouse over it. But it is an incremental game, so we've got to get incrementally stronger. I'm going to take a session timer, which lets us survive for 2 seconds longer, as well as a breaker radius, which lets us hit things easier. Definitely going to need breaker damage and number of asteroids up. Those will be really handy, and I need to just be looking for clusters. We need faster clicks as well, but we want to be getting ones that are close together like these, just so we can get as many in individual hits as possible. And yes, if I click right now, you'll see whenever we get done with the level, it's going to say useless manual clicks. I don't know if there's an achievement for it. I didn't actually go check. But we're going to go ahead and do another set of upgrades. And it is pretty good. It's not, I didn't get constant upgrades in this whenever I first played it, but we're going to go for a bigger breaker radius so we can get more in there. But I was able to get upgrades every 2 runs at the bare minimum, and usually a bit more than that. So as long as we can get like 2 into a single little cluster, we should be fine for getting decent resources. We're currently not at the point where we can get extra time from breaking these, but we will eventually get there. They did take one thing out from the demo, though. There was a damage over time effect in the demo. And we'll grab number of asteroids as well. They did get rid of the damage over time effect from the demo, which is kind of sad to me because I actually enjoyed that one quite a bit. Because it was just a fun one to have running pretty constantly. Now, can we get all 3 of those? Nah, not quite. We kind of wasted time on that. But we did get more upgrades. Now, one interesting thing I noticed whenever I played through this the first time, I don't know if it's going to continue being this way, because they have done a patch since I first played. But whenever I first played it, it was the full version, that is, not the demo. There was a pretty smooth line of, like, you would get done with this segment of upgrades, and you'd be able to get to the next tier of black hole around the same time, and because you get a big bonus. It brings you up to a certain amount of money each time, which I thought was pretty neat. We'll see if it continues doing that after this latest patch. I don't think it's going to change, but one thing to keep in mind is that we are not going to stay able to, like, one-shot things for very long. Just for now, we're just happy with what we've got. I do need to get density of these up. Still have just the low-end nonsense here, and there's achievements for getting a certain number of breaks for things. We're going to go with breaker speed and asteroid size. Asteroid size gets us more money per asteroid as well. You can see that we have some big asteroids here. Whenever we break them, you'll see that they give us $2. And that increase is going to keep going up. We're going to be dealing with billions and quadrillions. That's one reason why I haven't hovered over the stuff on the side. I can show that off whenever we get to the level up screen again, which is right now. You may have noticed these don't light up. In the main campaign mode, the, like, starter mode, you generally do not want to be, like, saving up for these. I guess we could save up for time added when hole grows, but why not just get the upgrades here first? It makes more sense. But yeah, they are blocked off. We're going to be getting quintillions by the end. That is a very powerful upgrade, by the way. Most of the rest of the ones for that one are 10%. I don't think I could see you actually saving up to a quintillion just doing it from the low level, but it would be kind of funny if somebody does. If you do a video of that, show how many hours it takes to actually get that going. I will laugh my ass off, because that's going to be days. Because we're talking hundreds into quintillions. that takes a while. I'm going to go with more breaker damage and more breaker speed to start. That way we get through these a little bit faster. It still takes 2 hits to get rid of the big boys, but pretty soon we're going to start seeing color shifts, and the colors do shift through a predictable pattern for all of them. Eventually the entire screen is going to be purple, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think it would have been better to have top level of each be a different color. That way it would contrast a little bit. And yes, I'm playing on dark mode. I believe I didn't check the video I did on the demo, but I'm pretty sure in the demo I did it in light mode. So let's go ahead and get all these. And sadly, we don't get AoE for a little while. We will eventually get some AoEs, but we don't have the damage over time AoEs as a thing. At least not for now. They might add them in future patches. There are plans for future game modes and stuff like that, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's plans for future abilities. We're going to go for the bigger breaker damage, because why the hell not? See, now we have orange. And yes, every upgraded material we ingest is going to go through the similar, I think it is red, orange, green, yellow, blue, and then purple, I believe. But you can see it actually does help our income quite a bit to be able to go like that. We're going to go with more breaker damage. We're going to go... We don't have enough to get the comets yet. That is only 1 billion, though. I am going to grab asteroid mass. We'll get this critical damage bonus last, because we're not really critting that much right now. Whenever we get the comets, we will start seeing a bit more in the way of crits. We'll see a bit more in the way of damage, all that kind of fun stuff, which should make life a little bit easier on us. I do need to get time up for destroying asteroids, though. That really does make the runs feel a lot more interesting to me, at least. They make them last a little bit longer, and it feels like we're making actual progress at that point. Yes, I have coffee. Deal with it. So this is the next branch we go on to. And yes, it does end up feeling a little bit linear, because you just have these clusters of here's a price point A, here's price point B, and I think price point C is here, and then we come back to this. So I think it goes and then we either loop back around to this or we immediately come down here. I don't remember which. I know we start looping into each other, because we end up looping up to that eventually as well. But whenever the black hole decides to go boom, we get a little extra time, and that's going to be a thing for a while. Unfortunately, the way it works, and it'll show it off whenever we get up to beating this one, is there's tiers of levels. So right now we're at the 0 to 10 stage. So we're trying to get up to 10 black hole. Once you hit 10 in a black hole, you are progressing 10 to 20. You don't reseed back to 0 size and then have to grow back up again. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I do see from a time perspective that it is probably better that it works the way that it does, because it keeps it from lasting nearly as long. Because I think if it did it from the very beginning, it would start to add up. And I think that 2.5 hour run would have probably been a solid like 3 or 4 hours, which is not where we want it to be. And if you're not yammering over it and talking about your decisions, yes, you can probably do this faster than 2.5 hours. Probably closer to, I would say, 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half for the normal areas. And then you want to go into the challenge modes. The replayability of this is definitely in the additional modes. So why I'm picking these? Time when an asteroid is destroyed. I like that chance. It's pretty important to me. We can always get these other ones pretty quickly as well. Chance to spawn a new asteroid when destroyed is also pretty good. We're not going to go mass just yet. We want to get a little bit more damage, I think, to make that really worth it. But as you can see, the orange ones, significantly more money than the reds. So that is another thing we're going to be seeing as just a general trend in this. We do want to get the reds anyway, just because they're easy to break. And it's just free money on top of what we're already doing. But oranges are our main focus. Asteroids spawn on whole growth. That means that we replenish a little bit. Eventually, we will be at the point where we are getting respawns 1 for 1, but that is super late game, and that's after we've gotten so many other things unlocked, and I just did very poorly on that one because I was focusing in on the wrong things. Oh, and we have, I didn't even like think. We have like a massive amount of orange right there. I should have been breaking earlier. So let's go for breaker damage so we can break these a little faster. Then we can start going for bigger ones. But yeah, big clusters of orange, probably where I should be aiming. Let's go ahead and just bust out those. I'm not sure what the difference between mass and size is on these, as far as how much of an influence they make on the amount of money you get. But I do think that it's pretty wise to just continue to push on both of them if you can. Both of these are mass, 425 for both, so we'll take that one first because I don't remember the layout of the tree. So now we have oranges. I mean, sorry, yellows after the orange. So I had that order wrong. It's going to go orange, yellow, green. So that's still fine. Eventually, we're going to hit a point where there's no more reds in here. That's going to suck a little bit for just like the free money, because right now we are one-shotting any reds we touch, which is just free money on top of everything else, but we need the bigger one so we can make more from each break. And let's go ahead and get that and that. And we'll start branching out. This one branches up and down. I do remember that. Now it's all about, there's our greens. Hi, green. You can see the greens take a little while to break. I just want to kind of go near the biggest clusters of yellows and greens and stuff like that that we can get. Greens are worth 648 each. And I forgot how much the stuff scales on it. This is one reason why the video is coming out after release, is my recording broke. I didn't have time or energy because my voice had worn out to do another recording. Let's go for... do we want more breaker damage? I think we want... Yeah, we'll go for the big breaker damage and then the little breaker damage. We'll go for some breaker radius next. Here's where we start getting planets, 101 million. So it's this, and then this, and then this, and then this. So we are going to be getting electric asteroids fairly soon. We also need a higher spawn rate of asteroids. Currently, we're not super dense on them. They do respawn a little bit, but not enough for me to justify going completely ham on stuff. We will eventually reach a point where I am just shaking the mouse all over the screen, just to hit as many things as possible. There are speed and size boosts that come later that we actually have to be aiming for certain things, but that's gonna just be neither here nor there, really. Okay, so we need 1,000 for that other breaker speed one. Breaker speed is how fast the system clicks. I should probably just spam click on one of these, see if anything happens. I don't think there is any reason to. This one is very mouse friendly, which is something I appreciate because it actually came up recently on stream. We were talking about mouse durability. Whenever I am doing action RPGs and a lot of clicker focused games, I go through mice. Generally speaking, when I was doing Diablo 2 regularly for the guides, I was burning through mice. Like every couple years was just new mouse, new mouse, new mouse. And that's with decent quality but cheap mice. Like we're talking about $20 to $40. So it tends to burn out pretty quick. Speed running is another one that will indeed burn out your controllers, not your... Well, I guess it would burn out your mice if you were using mice for a particular speed run. Generally speaking, my preferred games to speed run are things like Metroidvanias, which means controller. So not as bad of a deal. And yeah, lightning early on, not going to be doing much. Later on, we will be able to get a little bit of work done with lightning. But for now, we're just kind of going, okay, I think I want this green. I think I want that green, yada, yada, yada. And now we're back to only doing one upgrade, so we're going to go for more mass. Do we get... No, we still don't have blues. We got more greens, which is good. We do need a little bit more damage out there. It pretty much does come down to click speed and damage and radius. It's not so important that we need to kill things quickly, because if we're killing the highest ones, which right now are the greens, we're going to be getting more money. Whereas if we focus in on the yellows, we're going to be struggling a little. Just because the greens give us that much more. So we should always be aiming for the really, really good ones. Let's go for... We're going to go for more breaker damage first so we can shatter them faster. And then we'll go for the big stuff. But yes, I am aiming for the green clusters first. And the lightning ones are nice, but we don't have them amped up yet to where they can actually deal with the greens consistently. Okay, there's some green clusters near the middle. Grab those. There's a good one down here. I don't see any other really great green clusters. Green clusters? Green clusters. I can speak. I have the English in my brain. Okay, for now, we'll actually go with some more lightning upgrades, though. Now that we are consistently getting through those, lightning damage still is not going to be amazing until we get kind of near the end of the asteroids and are moving into the planets. You may... I did show off the upgrade over there on the right that had millions in it. That changes asteroids into planets, so we're going to have to get more asteroids so more can turn into planets. And obviously, respawns are a thing for all of them. So we need to be, like, focusing in on that. And generally speaking, right now, I am trying to focus in on the greens, but they do get kind of scattered after a while. We'll go with Fork. So now we can actually start having the lightning do stuff. And that should be solid. We don't actually have a lot of greens on this map. That's unfortunate. Maybe we'll spawn some. We got a little batch down there. Got a batch over here. That's okay. Got a batch over here. Yeah, just aiming for the green batches with, like, at least 2. Right now, we're not really seeing too many that are clustered more than 2 at a time. And we didn't get as much money that time because we didn't have as good of options. Let's go for more breaker damage now that we can maybe break the greens in 2 shots. No, we didn't. Let's go and grab that. And there is, like, as far as the actual damage we do with the lightning, it's not based on the asteroid type. A orange asteroid is going to do as much damage as a green asteroid. There are some things later on that are scaled based on what you're destroying, so that is important to keep in mind. But right now, it is literally just destroy whatever you can to get done. Let's go for Chain Max so we can see what's over here. But yeah, this is the one that turns them into planets. And it's gonna... Yeah, we're gonna be leading to the right into this. And then I think it's from that... We might have another branch off to the right. I don't remember. But I know we loop back up there. Next upgrade, I don't know what we're going to be going for. I should just be using space to start these, but right now I am just kind of like leaning back and using just the mouse arm. I could theoretically, I don't think my mouse would actually reach, unfortunately. Just lean back and use it on like my leg and just sit here under a nice heating blanket and just relax that way. I'm not sure how good a heated blanket would be for frickin' mice, though. That might actually cause electrical interference. I know that my heating pad, like if I use a heating pad on my shoulder or on my back, you can't hear it on the microphone, but my headset, due to where the cord goes next to me, I can actually hear the pulse of electricity as it's doing its cycles. So I'm just constantly, if I ever mention I'm using a heating pad while streaming or recording, that means that I am constantly, while doing that, hearing a steady zzz, 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 because the electromagnetic field. Let's be proper there. Let's go with Chance to Fork, because we like getting things forked up, right? Getting forked up is the best thing to do in life, right? Right? No, it's really not. Don't get forked up in real life. Best not to get forked by anything. This life will fork you enough. I know, stupid jokes are my forte. They might even be my 5-tay. Okay, so that was a decent amount of damage. Yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, that's going to be 60 grand over there. Let's go for more chains, and we'll go ahead and grab this one since we can afford it. Generally speaking, that's going to be my purchase pattern, is I'm just going to get it if I can afford it. It just makes the most sense to me, and really due to the scaling throughout the game, that is pretty much the best strategy for now. I know some of the other ones have interconnected modes where they have like all the upgrades and stuff like that in relatively similar areas. So, well, not in similar areas, connected so that you can jump in any order that you want. I don't know what their pricing is on that because I actually haven't gone and looked. Okay, so next one we should be able to get asteroid mass for our ass. So I think that's what that was. That looked like an asteroid mass one. I didn't actually read it whenever I hovered past it and saw that it was 60,000. I just saw 60,000. I was like, okay, that's our next upgrade path. Because Alzorath is smart and actually doesn't read things whenever they're presented right in front of him. Should I not refer to myself in third person just to fuck with you guys? Generally speaking, I don't. Unless I am taking self-deprecating humor. Upgrades. Okay, so is it... Yeah, it's asteroid mass. And we can also get a little bit more spawn chance, which is welcome. I don't know why they kind of bounce around as far as their percents go. That is kind of strange to me. We should be going for the blues, because they're thousands. Unfortunately, they're not spawning next to useful stuff, so we're kind of having to hope for the best every now and then. And we can... Oh, we can't get two of them there? Damn. Okay, so we do not have any more blues. That should be pretty good. Yeah, good for our income. 100,000. Let's go for more spawn chance. And we'll go for the blues again. There's some blues there. And you can actually hear whenever I don't have it over something whenever it ticks. Because it does like the hollow drum sound like you are tapping on a empty water jug pretty much. Which is kind of intriguing to me that it does that. That is a good sound design choice, funnily enough. Because that would lead me to believe that this could actually be played blindfolded. Not as effectively, but it could be. It'd be a pain in the ass to choose your skills, though. Let's see. That would be a nice thing to actually do. Put controller support on this and have it be stick driven, and then whenever you come to this menu, have it be directional pad. That way you could always spawn in the middle and over to these. Or it could just be on the last one you used. That would let me lean back even more. We're going to go with breaker speed. Because I think that there's another mass one to the top right there. So I want more speed so we can actually just break these a little faster. And yeah, I am just going after the blues. I'm generally going to, as far as this time around, this is a difference from how I played in the now off-camera version, is I'm going to be aiming for whatever new feature it gives me at any given time. So if we start getting blue asteroids, I'm going to be aiming for the blue asteroids. Whenever we start getting electric or moons or anything like that, we're going to start focusing on those. Yeah, that's asteroid mass. Boop. And yeah, you're going to start hearing that you are missing things thing a bit more as we get a little bit further in. Mainly because I'm going to be one-shotting a lot of stuff for a little while, and then we'll be moving back to having to just sit there and hover over stuff again. It is a cycle. There is definitely a cycle of, okay, we're doing enough damage to just nuke and get rid of everything like we are right now. Like, we're just getting rid of pretty much everything on the map right now. And then we'll eventually hit a point where, oh no, we now have things that are super fucking durable. So now that we have a lot of blues, we should be able to just keep the blue mass constantly being chipped away at. And new ones should spawn in, and we should make significantly more money by focusing on them. Come on, take those guys out. We have a nice cluster there built up. There's another nice cluster there. We got these. You can see that we should probably hit, I'm guessing 150k. Whenever we end up finishing this one. Might be a little bit higher, in fact, because we've actually got the run extended by getting growths on it. Yeah, 300k. I was way off. Let's go and get some more asteroid mass, and we'll grab that since we're there. And now we get golden asteroids. These just give you straight money. They don't contribute mass to the base as far as I can tell. We want to be aiming for the purple asteroids now, because they are the best resource. Unfortunately, they're not going to spawn super thick yet, just because of... Okay, there's some up here. They really do blend in with the blues, though. But yeah, the purple asteroids are going to be our biggest income. They're going to be, I believe, 5 digits. Someone can confirm that by... Yeah, they're 5 digits. By watching the VOD and commenting. That's also a good thing. And as always, leave your likes and all that fun stuff. Usual YouTube crap. Mainly because currently, for those of you curious as to why, like, the server requires, like, the Discord server actually requires membership approval at the moment, it's because someone has decided that because I didn't like a certain game that they adore, they're going to follow my social media and set up scripts to mess with videos. So, it's fine. It's not actually impacting anything. It's just annoying to come into my analytics. And due to, for those of you wondering, yes, there are scripts that let you auto-engage with videos. It's something that we have to deal with. Usually they get banned within about 6 months. If you can track it to a main account, you can actually report that account. And I was talking to a real person at YouTube, which frankly astounded me. Especially considering the size of this channel. I haven't ever done that on my main channel, though, weirdly enough. Never have felt the need to, but yeah, there's someone over there looking into it. Whether it's going to go well or not, I don't know. We'll find out eventually. But yeah, they're tracking down like the source of the dislikes and stuff like that. It happens. I've had it happen before. Usually they lose interest after about like a week. And it's 99% of the time, yes, it is somebody from freaking Reddit, because they either didn't like that I explained how YouTube works to them, or they didn't like that I didn't like random things. It's very, very strange. But, oh, and yeah, we should probably be focusing in on the money ones. The money ones are pretty good sources of income. They're not as good as the purples. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It happens. But usually they get off of it in about a week. This one's been particularly unhinged, so I figured I'd get the paper trail going with a few companies as well, just to make things a little bit more secure should they try to escalate. Because as some of you that have been around on the YouTube side for a long time, you'll know that I have actually been... I've been doxxed once, and I have been stalked before as well, like in real life stalked. That is just a thing that you have to be aware of if you are a public-facing figure. Thankfully, the stalking case was not from YouTube. It was actually from real life, like my day job. But it is what it is. And you learn to deal with it over a period of time. This comes with, like, okay, experience, This is how you deal with it. You get a paper trail. If things escalate, you take it to officials. Sometimes it is, depending on the source of the individual, sometimes it's your regional government. And generally speaking, if they're overseas, they're really not a threat to your physical well-being and stuff like that, unless they like try and SWAT you or some shit like that. In which case, that is also just one where you contact your local authorities and say, hey, yada, 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 this is going on. You might get reports such as this and this. Please respond to this other special secret number and contact me. If you can't get a hold of me, then maybe it is legitimate kind of yada, yada, yada situations. But whenever it comes to the weirdness, it can happen for any number of reasons. Go and grab those. But yeah, just my mind wandering while we are slowly destroying universes worth of material here. Just to get access to more money to get bigger black holes. We must fill our holes with as much material as possible. Giggity. What is it with me and like finding the games that have like the worst innuendos as well? I find them funny because guarantee you like half the people with, you know, reasonable adult minds are not thinking that. And generally speaking, younger people are not thinking that either because it doesn't cross their mind. They're not as jaded and experienced in the world as us. So it's like a very narrow niche of like dad joke meets 12-year-old sense of humor. If that makes sense. You are my people. I do like my dad jokes. The greater the eye rolls, the more successful they are. If someone can see the wrinkles on their brain, you have succeeded with your sense of humor. Which I think is kind of my objective even when streaming. Just find as many dumb jokes as possible. And I might actually start doing like a bonus stream each week of just games like this, so we could have a variety hour stream on top of having our usual RPG streams. Because I know that there is like a disparity there. There's our first upgrade to planets. We're gonna do those two, of course, because that's gonna be more damage to planets. We're going to go ahead and get the asteroid crit chance as well. So yeah, this one's going to go up into there. And then I think, yeah, it goes up into here, then to there, and then we come back to, I think it's this one. Actually, I'm positive it's that one. It's 20 billion versus 60 billion. So now we have planets. So we are back to, we're not killing stuff super fast, are we? But they are worth significantly more than the little asteroids around them. They're worth more than the little gold things as well, I think. But I could double check that eventually. The gold things break pretty easy, though. So it's not like a huge issue. So I think we'll be going planets, then gold things, then yada, yada, yada outward from that. And this is a situation where we almost made enough, but not quite. This is about when that starts as well. And I think it's also because I started a little bit rough. I didn't get as many of the asteroids around the planets as we probably should have. And I didn't get all the planets like right out of the gate. As long as we get all the planets, I am relatively content. Okay. Let's go ahead and upgrade asteroids to planets, so that gets us more planets. So we should be able to actually have enough planets that we're not going to run out of them super quickly, and we'll be able to get clumps of them at the very least. We'll just kind of go counterclockwise and just blip, 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 blip. Deal with the groups as we can. I need more click speed as well. And there was another useless click because my finger twitched. Yay, Oopgrods. Still not enough. This is one of the points where I ran across it before, just having issues getting enough resources. But I could just be because I'm going off after the single planets every now and then. We do need more damage. Yeah, not going to go back for that single planet. We're going to just keep going after these little buddies. Ah, we should have gotten that one. Uprod. Chance to spawn a moon. It buffs the breaker's speed and radius. We are going to be leaning on those pretty hard. Obviously, we're not going to be getting a bunch of them, but we're going to be getting enough that it should help us take out all the nonsense fairly quickly. We need to have more planet spawns as well. But yeah, we're going after the moons first, and then we'll go after the rest of that stuff. 33. I'm going to go more breaker damage first, so we can break stuff quicker. Okay, there's our moons. We're going after the moons first simply because that gets us to be super clicky man for like about a second and a half. Later on, we will get a boost to our duration of those, but it's way, way later, unfortunately. Let's see. I don't think we have enough for upgrades. Yeah, we don't. Continue. We could save up for specific things down below. I forget what we actually have access to in that regard. Let's go ahead and get some more moons. We can get up to like a ridiculous amount of moons on us. And eventually we will just constantly be in moon and comet mode. Comet mode, it's going to be a minute before we actually get to be able to see that. Let's go ahead and get some lightning going around. Just to get some more free money. Chance to spawn a new planet when one is destroyed. That's where we want to start going. And now we can probably start popping as many of these planets as we want. And not have to worry about them not having clusters at least a little bit. Because they'll spawn kind of just all over the map. So we'll eventually have something like this pop up. We'll get more moons popping up and stuff like that. So we'll be able to sustain our speed as well. Let's go for... We're going to go for breaker radius first. Then we'll probably go for planets spawned. Eventually we will get a asteroid spawn buff, because the way the initial planet spam works is we end up with a certain number of planets based on our number of asteroids. So we have like X number of asteroids turn into planets, and then we start respawning planets whenever we destroy planets. So eventually it will be at a point where we just have so much nonsense floating around that we have a constant just wall of asteroids, planets, and something to come later. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get that. Planet size up will get us more money. But I'm not sure if we can actually destroy them fast enough to stick with that right now. We might need to focus in on getting more dangage. There's 2 moons there, there's a moon there, and there's only a certain number of moons that can be on the field at a given time. There's an upgrade to adjust it later, but right now it is not with us. So, I think we will go ahead and go for planet size, because that's 280 million up there. This is going to be getting a little bit on the rougher side, because these are going to be harder to destroy the big reds, and we have a chance of just like all our moons just being on big reds, which would kind of suck just a lot. Okay, so we got that one. Got a moon down there. And yes, like I said, I'm just going after the new features first, and you can see we didn't get a moon spawn until the very last second there. Which kind of sucks just a little bit. Breaker bonus, planets damage, and we're going to go ahead and take the speed click as well, because it's just there. And let's go. Let's go ham. Let's even possibly go full turkey. As you can see, once we get that up to a lot of them around them, we're just burning through clicks like crazy, and you can only imagine what happens after we get more freaking let's just go like this, I think. Yeah, grab that gold over there. But you can kind of see what happens after we get really going. I'm gonna go for more damage just so we can break the planets faster at the start, because that's going to be kind of unfortunately important. But yeah, once we start getting more planet spawns and just consistently able to keep our moons up above the 4 or 5 range, we will be kicking the booty. But we need much higher moon spawn rate, and we need a higher quantity of moons able to be on the map at once to be able to do that. So there's more planets. And we just have some kind of mediocre upgrades going on next. Let's go ahead and just, as long as we keep it above 4, we're going to be going super click happy. Once we get a lot of upgrades to our speed, though, we're going to be going beyond click happy. We're just going to be constantly destroying every bloody thing. Oh, there's a moon there. That's no moon. We're destroying all the Death Stars. It's fine. No moons. Oh, there was one over here. No, right at the last second I saw it spawn. Makes me sad on the inside. And go scale so we can see what's up here. Planet mass. That's going to start changing their colors, making them harder to kill. But it's also going to be making them worth significantly more moolah. So then we're going to have to start deciding, do we want to go for the moons or do we want to go for the colors of planets? I think we're going to generally be going for the moons at this point, because that's a little bit of a shift in our strategy, but the moons are the new feature. Destroying the planets is not. Okay, 114. We're going to grab you and that. And now we're moving into chance to spawn a moon. That's good. Wouldn't mind 100% chance, but I don't think that is a thing. But yeah, constantly just going to be going for the moons first. If we can get one of the other ones on the side, yeah, I'll take it. But for now, the planets with the moons are the priority. There we had an orange one, so that was good. How much are they worth? I think 855k for the orange planets. Okay, we have some moons there. Didn't get enough for the next upgrade. We are just 5 mil shy. No, no, for shame. And yeah, not a lot of orange planets. We are eventually going to be just going ham on them, don't worry. And you may notice it feels like we're slightly more zoomed out. That's because whenever your black hole grows, you actually do get access to, it's slightly a different map. I'm not sure how it is done in Engine, but each black hole base size changes how your map layout is. So essentially you reset to where it's just kind of like sparse, and then you have to build it back up with your new planet upgrade in this case. We're going to go planet size first. And 1 billion there. We will, eventually 1 billion is not going to be that much. Believe it or not. And that's when we start getting comets, which are a thing we actually do want to grab. On the rare occasion they spawn, I've had very mixed luck with them spawning. That and their big brother, the Comet Storm. Until we get a moon, we're just going after the oranges, I guess. And the little gold asteroids, they do actually end up scaling fairly well. They're not something you absolutely have to ignore. So we have a greater chance of spawning moons now. So we'll be running into less situations where we just end up with like no moons around us, which is always welcome. Go and get you. We'll get those 3. But yeah, the faster we click with those, the better we'll be doing overall, because that's going to get us through the harder to kill planets much, much faster. Okay, 223 mil. Let's go to bonus damage planets. So now we should be able to kill the oranges in a reasonable amount of time. And if I can get an orange in the radius while I'm getting my moons, I'm probably going to start taking it, but until we have the moons consistently spawning, we're going to have an issue just keeping up with just getting all the moons and keeping them running. Because, see, right now, yeah, we only got that because of the black hole growing. And you may notice that we end up getting kind of like a little bit of the way up, and then we burst several levels in to the black hole growth. That is, I believe, intentional. Okay, so go for that one, go for that. And just keep going after the little white dots. It's connect the dots, folks. Do you like playing connect the dots? And I just useless clicked because I do have muscle twitches, by the way, for those of you that are curious. It's nothing severe. It's just I get muscle spasms. That's why I drink potassium drinks, is because that reduces the muscle spasms, which makes life a little bit easier. Okay, we're going to have those useless mouse clicks just all the time. Always want the more planet spawn because that means more moons. We eventually do get 100% respawn on... I know the planets and asteroids. I don't remember if we get 100% respawn on the suns, which are our next ones. I don't think we do. I could be wrong. Unfortunately, you never reach the point where you're just a galaxy-eating black hole, which I think would be nice. You only get up to suns. Which, yeah. Considering black holes are at the center of a number of galaxy types, I guess that makes a little sense. Okay, planet mass. Next upgrade. Because that's the only one we have left until we're in the bills. And yeah, as long as I can keep my moon grab up, I think we're going to be solid. I don't even care if we sometimes get misses, as long as I am constantly heading towards the next white dot or cluster of white dots. I think I'll be okay. And no, we don't have 100% respawn. That's why you'll often see me clearing out the vast majority of the planets now. I think you get a good sense of the ebb and flow of this. So there's that. And now we have moons on the oranges one, so it's going to get a little bit slower, unfortunately, because we now have moons on yellows and on oranges. Thankfully, we have our full damage upgrade, so it's not that awful. First time I did the playthrough, the one that vanished into the ether because, you know, you guys got to see my AFK screen for 2.5 hours. This one is... And for those of you wondering, whenever I do stream these on Discord, it's a different input. You're actually seeing the game itself. You're not seeing the OBS input. Because if I do the OBS input, you're going to be seeing it in reverse. So that kind of sucks a little bit. So I don't tend to go that route. So I just like stream the game through that, and I record the game separately in OBS. Now, do I do that very often? Not really, because there's a lot of things that are under embargo or that haven't released yet. And generally speaking, I follow the rules. Put it very, very bluntly. There are people and content creators, I run across a few, I know a few that I interact with regularly, that do break embargoes by... Oops, I released it 12 hours early. I thought it was this. No. Once you've done that 95 freaking times, you should probably realize that no, you are just breaking embargo. We're going to go and grab the money boost from the gold ones. But yeah, there are people who are just like, oopsie, and just they don't tend to face the consequences because... There's a lot of communication in the creator space as well as the indie space in regards to like blacklists and stuff like that, but it only reaches so far. And if somebody's like a brand new dev, they're not going to have contacts in those spaces, so they tend to get exploited, and the embargo ripper offers tend not to do anything special to get out of that, so they just go after the new devs that aren't on the inner circle. Which is stupid, but it is what happens. Now, do I ever give... For those of you who have watched a long time, you might also know that if a dev sends me multiple keys and I have no use for the additional keys, I do give them to other press people. Generally speaking, unless it is someone I trust to behave and actually follow the embargo, I'm not going to send them the key. The only people that get keys from me generally are going to be people that I A, respect, B, know really do fit that genre of game and actually do enjoy covering it, as well as people who respect the rules of embargoes and stuff like that. I never give it to somebody that I have ever encountered who sold keys. If anybody I know ever sells keys, I tend to just kind of cut them out of any kind of review or dev circles that I have. I do have a list of people that I will generally go to first and see if they have it on their wish list or their follow list or something like that, and be like, hey, I got 2 keys because you sent one to Let's Play Everything and you sent one to Alzorath. I use the same email, so that shouldn't happen very often, but you would actually be surprised at how often it happens. And my rule of, if I get an extra key, that key should also be used for coverage and reach. Generally, I favor people who might have a more niche focus for that genre. Something that someone from outside the creator space might not realize. Like, this other creator might exist, they might not realize it. Or if I'm not able to even cover a game to begin with, or if I don't intend to cover a game to begin with, I will actually pass that key on to someone I know will. Because generally speaking, the reason devs send out keys is some people are like, oh, it's sponsoring. No. Getting keys, we need the product to review the product. And there is a distinction between that and actually... There we go. Let's go ahead and grab that guy. But yeah, there is a distinction between that and sponsorships. Even whenever you're talking like FAA regulations. Not FAA. FCA, I think. Or the FCC. There we go. My acronyms are just broken right now because I am exhausted. But yeah, they are distinct as well whenever you're reviewing them in normal media. Let's go for planet mass, and then we'll go for the comet duration. Comet duration is how long it lasts around your circle there. But yeah, as far as the keys, I do tend to send them to people that I am 99% certain will cover it. I know I'm not don't use me as press outreach. I have considered getting into that space, but I think it would be a conflict of interest with my covering of games. There may be a time in the future where I change my stance on that, but for now, that is where my brain is on it. I think it would feel like a bit of a conflict of interest for me if I was a distributor of keys and had the coverage of my own. That said, I could change that in the future depending on which way things go and whether I could make a better impact for indie games, in which manner it would be better for them. Right now, I think raw coverage is the better impact I can have because it gives you, the viewer, the person who's probably going to be buying the games, a good idea of how the games go. As far as me, I do buy a good number of games that I cover, but generally my rule of thumb, and the reason why I'm pretty sure I still have it phrased this way in the description, at least it's in my default description. I don't remember if I have it working on this channel properly still, because I haven't updated it in a while, but I have a default description that's like just right there that says, for all intents and purposes, just assume I got a key for this game. That is my rule of thumb. Any game you see on the channel, just assume I got a key for it, and I'm covering it that way. Even though there is a good portion that I do just actually buy myself, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to cover this, or I go through my backlog, and I'm like, I feel like covering this now. And those are games that I've purchased in the past as well. There are misleading pieces of information in both directions regarding keys. No creator is entitled to a key. And generally speaking, the idea that keys are cutting into your profits is a stupid one. I'm just going to be very blunt about that. If you are somebody who is out there doing the, oh, never give keys to creators, they should buy it themselves and cover it, that's not good for your coverage for 2 reasons. One, it's actually really bad for your coverage because you have no day one coverage. Your snowball, it gonna melt. And if you're wondering what I mean by snowball, snowball is generally the period that I refer to as the 48 hours leading up to and the 48 hours after the release of a game. This is whenever you're most likely to get on Steam's front page. This is whenever you're most likely to get recommended videos on the YouTube side of things. Like this one, 48 hours after, I've already probably dropped my reach in half, if not more, by covering it this far out after release. But your snowball, you want 24 to 48 hours lead up of people releasing footage of it, and then you want 24 to 48 hours after of people creating coverage for it as well. So you have that surge on YouTube and on Twitch and on pretty much any other platform, as well as Steam or your chosen storefront, which could be itch, could be GOG, although GOG is a lot more restrictive on who they let publish games there. It is very much... Let's go ahead and grab breaker damage so we can get through these a little faster. You generally want to have as much coverage in that short period of time as possible to drum up as much interest as possible. It's the best thing for you, and it is the best thing for the people covering your game to release during that period. There's a lot of people who think they have to be first on the block for coverage. No. You don't really want to be first on the block. You might want to be like a little bit before somebody bigger than you, who has more reach than you. That is like an hour or two before, maybe 24 hours even before, and it's not going to hurt you very much. But if you are releasing 3 months in advance, you're going to actually lose, as a creator, you're going to lose reach for that game on your video. So it's going to drop down the ranks unless you have something that is performing exceptionally well on its own merits and outperforms any new video from a larger creator, which is very unlikely. Like if I was gonna, I'm trying to think of a good example without like really calling out too many people. Like if I was gonna cover the same game that Wanderbot is gonna cover, I don't know his coverage schedule. Generally speaking, I don't really talk to any other creators about what they plan to cover in the near future, unless we're just talking shop, just arbitrarily off camera, just chilling maybe on stream or something like that. But because pretty much the main things that we talk about whenever it comes to content creators, this is true on pretty much every content creator group that I'm part of. And yes, I am part of several, but pretty much every content creator group, generally we only talk about things whenever they are extremes or we are looking for something specific. For example, if I'm looking for a key for a specific game, I might reach out and be like, hey, have you heard any way to contact... Let's use one that I actually cover a lot of games from, Kepler. If I didn't already like get an email from Kepler, I'd be like, do you know who's handling the coverage of this game? I might reach out through a few of my creator channels and be like, hey, do we know? And if no one does, then I just do my generic outreach to Kepler and I'll be like, hey, I would like to cover X game on, this is how I cover it, which right now my general coverage reach out is I plan to do a playthrough on the channel you guys are watching this on, which is Let's Play Everything. And then provided time and availability, I would do a review over on the review channel, which I am behind on. As of the release of this, I am ramping things back up. Life has really been getting in the way, so I haven't had time to write very many scripts. That and working on another side project, which sadly is probably not going to make me any money to sustain it, but is something that is a passion project of mine that I want to get done before like my health degrades to a point that I can't do it. I want to work on that. So we do this, we do that, and then I do reviews whenever I have the energy and time. And that my outreach is pretty much, here's the initial coverage that I will guarantee is coverage on the Let's Play Everything channel, and then I will follow it up with potential review on the main channel. Could also, if it is a longer game, mention that I stream on Twitch. So if I stream on Twitch and YouTube, I will generally be streaming the longer games that way. Things like RPGs, possibly Metroidvanias. I might start integrating those back in, but right now I am really focused on RPGs because I'm enjoying going through classic ones, as well as some new ones. We covered a few new ones already. And that is kind of my pitch. It's like, this is what I do. If you can spare a key, this is the coverage that I can guarantee. I can't guarantee a certain number of views. No creator can. That is actually if you are a new dev working on games, that is actually a really big red flag on a channel. if a channel is getting super consistent views, we're talking, the most common one is like 2,000 to 4,000 views. Like on all their videos are getting 2,000, 2,500, 2,200 views, or 4,000, 4,400 kind of views, all within a very narrow range. If you have 30 videos, any creator will tell you across 30 videos, or in the case, a lot of the fake channels, 10 videos, you will not see that consistent of views. You will have one that is 10,000 views, you'll have one that is 2,000 views, you'll have one that is 50,000 views. It varies depending on the game, the time period after the release of the title that you're covering. This is actually true of non-game stuff as well. If you are seeing super consistent views, video to video to video, you really need to do a deeper dive into that before you send that person a key. Right now, this channel's base performance is a couple hundred views per video. But you'll notice, because of the fact that it is a real channel and being viewed by real people who are really signed up for memberships and really subscribed to the channel notifications and all that fun stuff, you will have videos that are several thousand views. Say, for example, the Cole LLC videos, which sit at around... They vary. Some of them are up into the 5 digits. Some of them are just 1,000 something. But they get pretty good views from real people, but they're well above the baseline. Same for the Nidica videos. You will have... A real channel will have outliers. Especially with the way YouTube works. You end up in a situation where the outliers are a normal indicator of health on a channel. If your channel does not have outliers, your channel is not healthy. That is pretty much the one consistent absolute that I can give you as far as like a channel health diagnostic. If you don't have outliers, something is wrong with your channel at the moment. If you do not have outliers, that is because, generally speaking, some things will just resonate better with the audience that finds your video. Let's go with the gold bonus on them, and we'll do more breaker damage. I'm not aiming for the gold ones, but I think they actually do provide us, 83.5 million. They might actually be, they're almost as much as a blue planet at the moment. So they do scale pretty nice. The big golds are. The little golds, probably not. They're probably about as much as a green, because maybe a small blue. Yeah, going after the little white dots is my strategy right now. Me going on rants has probably slowed us down quite a bit, so we're probably going to go over the 2 hour on this one, but I enjoy this. This is my cathartic bubble wrap. This is my escape. And if I do a review on this one, I did not promise a review on this one. I got a key for this one because I had covered the demo. At least that's my understanding of why they sent me a key for the full release. But that is... yeah, that's just a whole different discussion. That's one that I have mixed opinions on. I'm not sure how I feel about... This one is not one of them that did it. Let me make that perfectly clear. This one is just one that I saw on another person's channel and I was like, I want to cover that demo. And then they sent me a key after covering the demo. I was like, cool. But there are a few games, and this is one reason why you'll notice a lot of creators actually doing weird demo-focused things. It has become a bit of a trend in at least the key spaces to focus in on, if you cover our demo, we'll let you have the full game. Which really sucks for people who do reviews. Because you want to know what you don't do a review on? You don't review demos. You can do first impressions on them, but it's almost like the vast majority of time, if you're doing a pre-release demo, that is not going to be an accurate indicator of the final game. It is going to be an indicator of the intent of the original design, which means that, yes, there will be some similarities, but they are going to change. Like, for example, this game, the demo, has an entire attack that is not available in the full version. The demo actually has a different asteroid break. The demo doesn't have planets. It doesn't have stars. It just has the asteroids, and it has the electric asteroids, and it had a gas asteroid. Full version doesn't have a damage over time one. Electric asteroid damage up. We'll go ahead and grab that, and then we have the loop down here, which should lead to the backside of this. And then I don't remember whether it comes up like that or whether this just immediately starts being the next one we go into. I think it leads up to this, though. Because as you can see, this is your planet tier, this is your asteroid tier. And we proceed on. So let's go ahead and smack these. And also, if you have any questions about, like, a game or how I got a game, feel free to ask. Questions are never a bad thing, especially if they are pertinent to the game. Like, did you get a key for this game? Ask me and I will tell you whether I got a key or not in the comments. That is perfectly fine. Generally speaking, I will try to disclose it at least once throughout the video, if not multiple times. Sometimes I do think that I'm probably not as clear as I want to be about it, but because I get distracted by the game. And as you guys know, because you watch this regularly, I am very easily distracted. I get mentally flaky unless I have notes in front of my face. I will go off on a tangent. I actually have a list of things that I need to get done each day, because I will forget otherwise. I'm gonna grab the Comet Shower one. That was a good round, so we might as well take advantage of it. But yeah, it's one of those things where I am very easily distracted. It's not a fault of yours. I do include that notation in the description just because I do sometimes forget to, like, denote it, but I think I should probably just start mentioning at the beginning if I got a key or not, rather than just doing it free flow and relying on the text descriptor. Laws regarding that vary depending on your jurisdiction, and enforcement varies as well. But I do keep track of, like, which things I get keys for and stuff like that, because I have email logs of them as well. But yeah, I keep a list of things I want to cover. I have a list of games that are on the review queue. I have a list of games that are on the stream queue. This last time, the poll that I did for the next game to stream was pulled from that stream queue. I intentionally left Final Fantasy off of it because we've done we did 8, 9, 10, and then 10-2, and Tactics, all in one big cluster. So taking a short break from that is a good thing. So we're going to be doing Second Story R, which is one I'm actually kind of nervous to cover because it is a big investment. It's a 100+ hour game. So it's going to be a long stream. It's going to probably even be our New Year's stream, even if I get all my stream days in, which I am going to be cutting back on my stream days just because I am that short on time. And as it stands right now, generally speaking, I have 4 hours dedicated to Let's Play Everything a Day as far as the actual videos, which includes emails, reaching out for keys, researching new games, researching demos, recording footage like this one. Ideally, I would get 2 games done a day, so I'd actually have a backlog like most of the other creators in the space do. I know that there's a lot of creators in the space that are, like, backlogged out a month as far as their footage, which I think the furthest ahead I've gotten is 2 weeks. Generally speaking, if you see it as a members first, that means that YouTube has finished processing it and it is now available. I have started pulling back on how quickly I release those because it's been screwing with people's home feeds. I don't like doing that, so generally speaking, I'll have 1 video in members first at a time. So that means probably 1 a day. At most, maybe 2 on one day and then 1 on the next, or we skip a day, stuff like that. But that's how things work on that end. Yeah, if you want early access, memberships, if YouTube ever gives me the option to let members watch ad-free, I am 100% going to turn that on. Because as it stands, due to the nature of YouTube ads, so I don't have to spend an additional 2 or 3 hours a day fighting it, I just have it set to automatic right now. if there is a problematic ad slot, I'm not talking about the actual ads shown themselves. I have no control over those. If there's a problematic ad slot and it's pointed out to me, I will try and fix it. I'll remove the bad ad slot and try and move it around, see if YouTube is going to complain about it. But there's only so much I can do about the automated one without that becoming yet another big multi-hour time sink, because right now I am running on good 12 to 16 hour days most days, which is not terribly healthy, especially considering it is all in front of a computer. It doesn't matter how long I pedal on the little machine I have under here. I could actually be doing that right now that I mention it. I didn't even think I could be doing it during this, but no matter how much I sit and pedal on that, that's not going to counteract sitting on my ass, staring at a computer screen and ruining my eyes for 12 to 16 hours a day. I can do a little bit of it on the treadmill, which helps out a little bit more than the pedals, but I can't do actual recordings that way. Ah, there we go. Continue. But yeah. In case you guys are wondering how much time is spent towards these, that's about 4 hours for this channel. I have 4 hours. Well, I try to do 4 hours. It's lowest on my priority list, so it's usually closer to 2 on my side project, which is a TTRPG thing. I have a good chunk of the actual design doc for my standalone one done. I'm currently working on a page for a 5e conversion so people can play in the world for now, while I finish play testing the TTRPG and getting all the rest of that kind of set up. I don't think it's quite ready for public consumption because I do think I've made a few things too crunchy and I need to simplify them. But I do think there is a place for crunchy TTRPGs as well as simplified ones. And that's what I'm working on the side. But that's usually 2 to 4 hours a day. Main channel stuff is on that for a little bit. And if I stream, that's another 4 hours. 1 second. Just got to mute my mic real quick. Okay. That shouldn't have been too long of a pause. I needed to cough, and that's absolutely horrible to hear in a microphone. Or other bodily noises. Okay, so we have a moon buffer radius. Probably shouldn't have grabbed that one right away, unfortunately. As it stands, since we upgraded our black hole, going to struggle a bit more because everything is more spaced out now because we have moved to a different map with a larger spawn area. Makes maintaining our moon much more difficult. Okay, so now we can grab the breaker radius, which eventually we will start feeling like it's back to normal, where we're just covering a huge chunk of this. But as it stands right now, we don't have that kind of reach. But generally speaking, writing a script takes a good... It depends on what kind of script as well. I'm going to actually be doing some short format review stuff as well. I'm debating how I want to do that, whether I want to integrate it into the larger reviews and basically have... Here's a short segment of the topics related to this review. Like, here's a review of the characters, here's a review of the stories, and have those each be individual shorts that point back to the longer big video, or whether I want to do the shorts as first impressions and then occasionally interject some of these other ones into the longer format ones, or point to the longer format ones whenever I get them done, such as do first impression shorts and then point it to the full review whenever I do the longs. So we'll see how it works out. And if you guys want to use that idea on your own channel, go ahead. Creativity is an iterative process. It is not a unique process. There are no unique ideas, just unique combinations of old ideas, if that makes sense. That's true of art, that's true of a lot of things. And it takes a bit of the human element to actually come up with these unique combinations rather than just combining them in a set pattern. Let's go with number of asteroids twice, just so we have more density. So we're constantly breaking something. And then we'll start converting more asteroids into planets. We should start seeing suns soon. Not Sun Tzu, suns soon. But I'm not positive on that, believe it or not. I forget how long in we have to go to get that. And no, it does not go up to 70 rotations on this. It goes up to 42. And then we start entering post-game. There's 7 stages, but... I'm going to go for Breaker Radius so we can get this one and see what those upgrades are. Because that's going to make more sense to me. And yeah, we're just grabbing moons. Moon? No. Poor Moon. I haven't heard... Moon is an old thing, if I remember correctly. Some of you might know what I'm talking about. Most of you probably are like, what is this old man rambling about moons for? We're going to go Breaker Radius. Yeah, and there's a number of asteroids. Those are the next ones we want. We want this to be as full as possible, and then we want to be converting them into planets. And then we want to be converting the planets into much bigger things. We eventually need to be getting more moon possibilities, because once we saturate on moons, nothing else we can do until we grab those moons. And you may notice we are getting more into the realm of I am just zipping around the screen, not really paying attention to what we're hitting. It's more just going after the little target dots on the screen. And I don't have to worry too much about seeing the moons. They do actually sit on the front layer. At least they did in my last run. So now we have more density, so we're at least breaking small stuff the entire time. Okay, grab those. We might see a meteor swarm soon. I'm not positive. We do have, like, I think it's, what, a 20 or 30% chance of it, but... Sorry, not meteor swarm. Comet swarm. Comet swarm is an entirely unique thing in this. Watch this one take longer because I've just gone off on tirades. And I lose track of what I'm doing. So much easier whenever I do that. I could just tell stories about my time in retail, which is its own fit of nonsense. Dealing with the peoples. Let's go with Breaker Radius and Comet Shower. And I think we do need to say... I don't know if we're going to get 300 billion for that. I think we only get 90 per. So I think that's going to be whenever we get our next upgrade on the map thing. Okay, so there's the meteor swarm. We could possibly push it up to it on this. I don't think we're going to, though. Push it up to this, I mean, in terms of actually beating this one. I don't think we have enough for it, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong about other things before, like earlier whenever I said we were going to be at 150,000 and we ended up at 300,000 or whatever it was, or was it 3 million? I don't remember which. Okay, so that's the next tier up. That got us a little closer. Yeah, we're not going to get it. We're getting closer, though. We're at 28. Let's go for planet mass first. Then we'll go for the Bufars. Because this gets us to all purple. This is one of the reasons why I was hoping that they would have a higher tier so that things would stand out against each other. But it did not. It's not a bad thing, it's just, it starts to just become purple background noise. The comets and the planets just look the same, so you can't really focus on them. All you can focus on is the moons, which is probably for the best for me, but it would just be nice to know that, hey, there's this percent of planets, this percent of asteroids in the late game. Focus on it, you moron. And by you moron, I mean myself. Because it would be nice to have that distinction, but I understand that it is for a gaming consistency as well that they don't. Upgrades. That one's our first trillion, so we're gonna go with we're grab those two first. We're gonna grab the radius boost, and then we'll work on those other two. So each moon we get is going to improve our radius and our speed fairly reliably. And no, we don't get the massive number of moon upgrades for a little while. We go from 10 on screen to 20 potentials. But this radius boost might actually be enough to push us over because we're getting asteroids more often with it. Which is kind of where we want to be. Would like to get more moons at once, but we currently just don't have enough on screen to do that. Stay on top of the little bundles of them as best as possible. That one, yeah, 28 still. The bonk and bonk. Just get the last upgrades because we can. We can't afford the trillion one anytime soon, so we might as well just go for as much as we possibly can. Okay, can we get a cluster of moons all at once? There we go. Yeah, whenever we just don't get the clusters, it's kind of a little bit on the rough side. But we should... This should be the point where we actually get the... level 30, hopefully. Unless I just do really, really, really bad and we have to, like, save up for the trillion. I don't think we're gonna have to, but you never know. Bad things could happen. Dumbasses could become dumbassing. No, we're not gonna hit it. No! For shame, Alzorath. For shame. We have the skills to do it. We just have to get the moons to do it. So just going after the white dots, hoping for good luck. We got 29. That's a good sign that we are actually on track to get it this time. Question is, how much will we end up as far as our bonus? Because last time the bonus, if I remember correctly, this one sets you to 7.5 trillion. So we're just going to grab moon after moon after moon after moon and just keep on top of the little white dots if at all possible and hope for the best. Yeah, if we get bad spawns, we just get bad spawns. It's just what it is. Okay, so there's a lot of material going in. This one feels a little better, but I actually don't think we're going to get it. Oh, no, we got it. Just barely. Ta-da! 7.5 trillion, yeah. I don't know why it just sets us to the amount. That always feels weird. Add time when planet is destroyed, yes. But yeah, that's upgrading planets to stars, so we're now going to see stars. We're never gonna see stir. Because that's here a Turk. You're just taking a drink of water. Okay. We're gonna go with star spawn. New star and new star. Breaker damage. Before we jump into that. Oh, and we start with a freaking comet storm. Great. And we unfortunately need the moons to destroy the stars, so we're going to be focusing a little bit on the moons. I will dip around and try and grab the stars as we go, but moons are our first priority. That said, the stars are still worth a good chunk of money. Okay. So we get you electric star damage and electric star chains. Yes. Let's get our moons going. The electric stars might be worth grabbing a little bit of, but at the same time, not really going to go out of my way for them versus moons. Like, we have a bunch of moons over here, so we might as well grab that one. Like, this one down here, didn't have a lot of moons near it, so that was a bit of a mistake. And that was way less income, I think. Do asteroids to planets just so we have more mid-level income. Asteroids, we can actually break it down by which thing we have, by how much money we're getting through it as well. But yeah, generally speaking, we're going to have to replace our broken... the planets that become stars with asteroids becoming planets. Because they're just kind of stacking on top of each other. Let's see, 1.3 trillion in stars, 1.3 billion in that, and not even a billion in asteroids. Let's go with breaker radius and a breaker speed. These bottom ones, a lot of these are going to be 500 billion, which is going to be a lot of upgrades for cheap for us at this point. Yeah, I think these stars are a billion each. Actually, no, they're 50 billion each. That is definitely worth breaking them. I just need to keep the moons going so we actually stand a chance of breaking them in a reasonable amount of time. Ta-da! So let's go ahead and get star damage, star chains, and breaker speed. Yeah, getting these improvements back up and getting the ramp going is kind of important for me. Because that's gonna just... the more we ramp, the happier I am. Oh, and there's our stars. Let's say, we got star spawn from the black hole growing. You're wondering where that star spawn came from. We need extra time from the stars as well. And you can see we're only getting up to 35 this time instead of up to 40. So these on black hole leveling up things are going to become less useful because we don't have the tiers to level the black holes up. We're going to go star size up. That's going to get us, I believe, bigger red. Yeah, just bigger reds. They're going to be more likely to spawn near a moon now, at least, though. They bigger, and they take up more space, so they're going to be near more planets. So I can farm them to my heart's content. Yeah, 100 billion per big star. So that is a significant boost in our income. $3.5 trillion. Star mass and chance to spawn a new star. Always want them replenishing. We can actually afford... I should have bought that one above us. I am a Dumas. Oh, and that one's going to be worth how much? 181 billion? Not quite worth the extreme increase in time for that. But if there's moons nearby, I will gladly take the orange stars. Okay, got those going. Let's go ahead and snap you up, if at all possible. Oh, that was only 90 billion for the small orange. It's not worth it. The big reds are worth more. But yeah, we should have gotten this one. This is only 900 billion. These are only 1 trillion. We're going to go for the moon buff. And breaker damage bonus to stars. And more breaker damage. Just so we kill stuff faster. We will be at the point where we're just one-shotting these planets. So we can get their moons relatively quickly. So I don't have to like hover in one spot. Like we can grab that one just kind of off the cuff. But I need way more speed boosts to really consistently take care of the oranges. Because they take how many hits now? Which is a crap ton. Go and grab these moons there, and you can see the moons are actually in front of the stars, so I can see them. That is a design decision that is handy. Even though they're anchored to the planets underneath, being able to see where they're at is super important. That's my indicator that I should be focusing on them. Well, we're going to go star mass. We're going to do breaker speed. Yeah, breaker speed. And I don't know what triggers a comet showing up, so I don't know what percent of events are going to be a comet storm. Even at 80%, they don't show up super often until the very end. But yeah, pretty much for the rest of this, I am going to be moon focused with comet grabs when I can. And we're eventually going to be having explosions and stuff all over the screen that help us clear out the nonsense that's further away from the moons. We're going to go with more time. Bonus damage to stars. That is our next upgrade tier, by the way. So that's a good sign that we're gonna probably be bursting up and actually taking care of this wave sooner rather than later. There are probably people who can beat this in half an hour, by the way. Just because they know what to target better than I. I have not broken down the math and all that fun stuff. Like, how many ticks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? I don't know. It's whatever we can hope for, boo-boo. But yeah, we will eventually be at the point where we're just respawning all of the asteroids, all of the planets. And there we go. Did I call it or what? 13 trillion. We're halfway there. Let's go for electric star damage. Fork chance. Comet shower, star mass, star size, spawn stars, spawn asteroids. But yeah, this one's gonna kind of flesh out, and then we're gonna, I think, be coming back to here or here. I don't remember which. This one right here, whenever you go into the endless mode, turns into your incremental boosts, which are 10 upgrades each. You can't see them yet, but they are there. You just can't get them until you go into the post game. That's why there was a continue or start new thing, because I was in the post game. Because I went through all of this and I beat it. Looks like we are on track for 2.5 hours, though. But you can probably tell by the audio why this has a bubble wrap effect for me. It is extremely enjoyable for me to have that bubble wrap effect. I am a dork. I like it. It makes me happy. Breaker radius. 100% chance to spawn a new asteroid. Yay. 100% chance to spawn a new star. And we'll just take another breaker radius because we can afford it. So constant respawn is constant. Go and grab those. Keep up the comets as best we can. Just dip out and at least keep 2 off the refresh cycle at any given time if possible. And now we have... You may notice that we are still making progress on stuff because it takes a moment for it to respawn after being completely decimated. We don't have a 100% chance of getting time with any breaks yet, but... the time increases are going to be very, very tiny considering the size of our black hole. Our hole is so big. But yeah, stage 5 is up to 40, 6 is up to 41, 7 is up to 42. And then beyond 42 is your central stuff there. We'll do the planet one and the comet. Now we have more stars. You know what? We'll go ahead and grab that one while we're here. We're getting plenty of money for it, so might as well. I do wonder if I'm going to get copyright claims on the audio for this. I actually got copyright claims on the audio for Tingus Goose. So I will probably, if I do another Tingus Goose video, which I do plan on doing, that was a very positive response you guys had to it. If I do another video on that, I will probably just put my own audio in the background or just do some YouTube audio. Which isn't that bad, it's just, eh. It is unfortunate not to be able to show off the game's audio. Which is one reason why most of the time I will just eat the loss of revenue on a video if it has that. But that one, I think the split has, out of 500 views, which they've probably taken about 98% of the revenue from it, which sucks. And no, I'm not going to counterclaim that. It is a legitimate claim. It is the music sourcing for the game. If you don't do in-house music, please, 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 please mention it somewhere in your, like, press emails or something like that. Although Tingus Goose is one that I bought myself. But I did get a press email for it after I bought it, which is ridiculous. I was like, wait a minute, damn it. I wanted to cover this. You should have just sent me the key before it released. But no, they sent me a contact email saying, hey, would you like to cover Tingus Goose? About, I want to say it was a good maybe 6 hours after I released the video on it. Which was funny. We're going to go with laser damage first. Lasers, you already saw them once. It's one of these. That's one reason why we're going to start seeing explosions. They're not the only one. We have plenty of AoEs to come. Because stars are your big, coming up to the end of the game kind of, we're now getting superpowers kind of thing. So each of those is worth a pretty penny. Yeah, 250 billion each. It's really, I'm really resisting just hovering over them instead of getting the moons. Because they are just so valuable. Let's go for laser width, laser damage. Crits are nice. We can't rely on them, though. Yeah, look at... Yeah, that's a 500 billion for just a big yellow star. That is crazy. But yeah, getting through these with enough moons to actually make it reasonable is also important. Give me that one. How much are the oranges? Not too crazy. Oranges are second lowest, if I remember correctly. It goes orange, yellow, green, blue. So laser width again. Laser damage again. And then next up is star mass. Would you like some star mass with your order? So I think the green ones are the ones that we absolutely want to be focusing on if we're going after stars. But we want to get the moons as well while we're doing it. I need the moon spawn up is what I need. Because yeah, that one was pretty much 1 trillion in of itself. That big green over yonder was, yeah, essentially 1 trillion itself. Yeah, any moons we see, I am just gonna go ham for. Ta-da! Star mass, that one's 17 trillion for that, so we do have enough to get one more. We'll go crit chance on the lasers. So now we have blues to deal with. Although we don't have a lot of them, so we're not going to be focusing in on blues. least not too much. How much are you worth? 1.6 trillion each, but we don't kill them very fast at all. Let's grab that moon, get the electricity off of that guy. Yeah, greens and blues are where we want to be focusing. That one was a bad run, though. Let's go star chains, star chains. Just to get more destruction going on. And I do know that there's people who, weirdly enough, just speaking of destruction, who don't like me talking shop about YouTube. I think it is important to talk about what's behind the scenes. So if you don't really enjoy that, I think transparency is more important than necessarily remaining on topic all the time. Obviously, 99% of what I talk about in the game is going to be about the game, but it's one of those things where I do think it's important to talk about how the sauce is made, so that you guys can make informed decisions about who and what you watch. There's our maximum moon up. Let's go with laser width first. I will be going back for those crit ones as we start getting like ridiculous amounts of money, but we're talking, we're going to be reaching quadrillions soon. I don't think we're going to bother pushing this to quintillions, though I think eventually it does reach that. As far as endless mode goes, as far as the post game, it wouldn't surprise me if it hits quintillions on the cost of some things. Yum. Comets taste good. Don't eat comet, guys. That is a cleaner. It is abrasive. It will kill you. I just thought about that after I said it. I'm like, dudes. Let's go for speed. Go speed bracers. Go speed bracers. Go speed bracers, go. That's stuck in my head since Final Fantasy X, you guys. Why did you do this to my brain? My brain has become the rot for which I fear. You too shall become one with the brain rot. There is all kinds of brain rot in this world. I try not to be too much of it, but you have to admit, I run a gaming channel. I have some rot going on. My memes, they contribute. But at least I try and talk about things that aren't just go more radius. Aren't just complete ham nonsense. Aren't full skibbity. I am not of the skibbity generation, unfortunately. But I find it funny to actually learn a lot more about that kind of stuff than is necessary, simply because my niece and nephew are of that generation. So I can use the lingo to confound and confuse them. Like, I understand what you're saying. Your mother does not. You little weirdos. That's one reason why I'm well aware of what 6.7 is not. It's not that I particularly appreciate that stuff, even though you have to admit, we had that as well. If you guys remember the game, you just lost it. It's kind of a similar, just pointless har-har thing. Oh, you don't know what this is? Well, the game is a little bit different. The game is one of those where it's like, oh, you don't know about it? Well, now you're cursed with the knowledge that you lost the game. Kind of situation, whereas 6.7 is literally just, haha, you don't know? And that is the entire joke. that is the entire bout of humor with that one. But we've had that since the freaking 80s in one form or another. Even like hillbillies and rednecks have had that. Like people not connected to the internet have like real life. I'm not sure I would call it meme at that point. Cultural comedy about stuff kind of like that. Snipe hunting. And I'm not using redneck in the attempt to be offensive with it. It's literally just, I know good rednecks. I know dumbass rednecks. I know a lot of them that do not use interwebs for anything other than Facebook. Although a lot of them hate Facebook. Thankfully. It's because they have half a brain. But it is what it is. We're going to go more star mass. Breaker damage. And we have enough for one more. We'll do Fork and Chance. And yeah, as we start getting these things up, we should be able to start taking out these big stars a little bit easier. I do still need a little bit more damage myself. Be able to take them out easily. Okay, so now we have more moons over here. I can come back for those. Pretty much going for moons that are near the blues so I can break the blues a little bit while I'm grabbing them. That'll get us more mass going in. I don't think we get it this run. I think we need a couple more upgrades. Oh, yeah, we ran out of time. And then we'll just shoot up past the 40 requirement in one just big fell swoop. Chance to spawn supernova stars is extremely important for us. Supernova stars complete the I am exploding everywhere thing. There's one over there. Do we have any moons near it? Not really, but we're gonna see it. It's got like a delayed explosion too. One answer I didn't get from my initial playthrough is whether if it explodes due to its delay after you run out of time, does it actually still count towards your mass or not? Or does it just hold its explosion and just don't get anything for it? I haven't been able to pay close enough attention to them to actually get that going well for us. So I can get that information. I actually have to watch the replay, and guess what I don't have? A replay of the original playthrough. We have a replay of this, though. Here's that bump up to 38. We're going to go for damage percent first, and we'll go ahead and start grabbing Fork Chance. Crits are my lowest priority because they're inconsistent damage. We will still get them. It's not a question of if, it's just a question of when. And I, for some reason, think that the supernovas are based on the health of the star. So it wouldn't surprise me if we eventually reach the point where that is going to be the majority of our damage. But yeah, now that we have the moon upgrade, we can have enough moons on board that we don't have to worry about anything, really. But it is worth noting, I don't think we get the moons from ones that we destroy with the Nova and stuff. That, or if we do, I'm just not noticing it. Sorry for the sniffle. We're going to go with Supernova Radius. We're going to do Breaker Crit first, and then we'll do the Laser Crits. That's just our penny spend at the moment. In case anyone's wondering why I am just still buying those low-level things, they help out. It's just not my highest priority items. And you'll know we're nearing the end whenever we have all purple and dark blue. And we're just having constant lasers and supernovas going off throughout the entire thing. Right now, it's relatively slow. Whenever we get to the end game, it'll just be constant, those lasers and stuff. I have a feeling they would be atrocious to look at on light mode. I suppose we could swap it up and do a single round in light mode. I don't know if I need to restart the session for that. Coming back. We're coming back. Yeah, feed that black hole. Get as much resources in there as possible. Blues are not the most valuable. The purples are, but we don't have a lot of purple stars. In fact, I don't think we have any purple stars yet, do we? No, we're still spawning blues. I thought we had one of the, like, mid-tier purples at some point. I think I might have just been misseeing things. And it was a blue that had a slightly darker hue. Or was surrounded in too much purple and I just wasn't paying attention. Let's go ahead and grab those. Grab ourselves some stars. Still not to 39. Oh, shame, Alzorath. There's our next session timer, 60 trillion. We should be able to get that relatively easily on this one. Yeah, we have some of those stars. I think those are the blue laser ones. Can sometimes... Oh, no, we have some purples. We just don't have them super frequently yet. We did just get a mass upgrade as well, so... It's a pain in the mass. I do have to wonder if the percents actually mean anything, or if it's literally just, well, you got this upgrade, this unlocks that. That would be kind of an interesting way to do it, like just fake percents everywhere. I hope they didn't do that, but I'm not going to take apart the game to figure it out if they did. Ooh, 151. Yeah, we'll take the extra time. Take the moon buff duration, so we don't have to be as frenetic about keeping them. So they're from 6 seconds up to 9 seconds now. And I do think there is a cap on our time, by the way. As you notice, whenever we start, it like jitters back up to a certain amount, but I don't think it can go over that. I have to wonder if like the amount we get from each thing is reduced over time. I'm going to switch ears real quick, so we're going to lose some points. Yes, I have my ears on, so I can actually hear the game, but I'll wait until after this round to actually stick it in my other ear. Come on, you guys! We need more matter in the hole. The hole must get bigger. The hole must become stronger. Our life for the hole. Come on, Bessie. Not being able to hear the game definitely throws me out of the mood for that, and probably adjusts how loud I'm talking. God, I can speak. I can use words. Let's go for Plants to Stars. Add a star when destroyed, 100%. This one might be the one where we actually beat it. And move into the next tier. Which is our getting to the wild and crazy amounts of damage point. Because we just got mass upgrades, and we are doing a lot more damage overall. Yep, we got it. Relatively quickly, too. 136.61 trillion. That is an arbitrary number. Maybe it doesn't just set us up to a certain amount. We're going to go Comet. Breaker damage. Can't go another star mass. 130 trillion for that. Kind of sucks a little bit. May I watch us actually end up with things not grabbed? We should have another boost to the number of asteroids. We should have another boost to the number of stars as well. I don't remember whether we're going to have another boost to the number of planets. But That was a decent bit of income right there. Hopefully we get enough to get that next mass upgrade. If we don't, we'll just take some random upgrades. But I wouldn't mind an additional big mass boost. You're going to see, now we're just struggling to get up halfway through one tier because it is just one tier to the next level. Yummy. Give me all of your nukes. And with the longer moon duration, we don't have to be as slavishly attached to where the moons are. We do still need to go grab them, because they keep us bringing down the stars, but as it stands, we need to be looking at the purple stars, getting them to go off, grabbing moons when we can, just like over here, then going back after the bulks of purple stars, in the hopes of getting more. Because they are trillions upon trillions of the space bucks. I do find it interesting that a black hole uses dollarinos, though. Let's go with time added when the black hole grows, although we don't get any benefit from that now. My brain just farted whenever I grabbed that. Yeah, we don't grow the black hole anymore. What is the point of adding time when the black hole grows? Because it never grows until we've won. I think that's the only useless one we could have grabbed, too. We have 189. Go supernova radius, damage percent, and laser width, so it hits more. It hitting more may not actually be a great thing. I'm not positive on it, though. Might just be one of those things where, actually, no, it gets rid of all the trash. I'm pretty sure it takes out all the planets, though, so we have to, like, be on the lookout for the new moons somewhere else on the screen. There we go, get all those going. More crits. I'm not too concerned about hitting the next tier of nonsense. I need to get more money for unlocks. That's our main focus at the moment. That's all of our stuff going in. Oh, we've actually almost hit it as well. Jeez. Let's go for chance to add time when a planet is destroyed. 100%. Planets to stars. I'm going to go with spawns on those and just supernova radius. Get that finished off so we don't have to think about red anymore. And we might actually get the next tier up on this one, because we were really close last time, but we had a really good run last time, too. We just had very consistent moons, just very consistent explosions and novas. It was just a steady bit of work. This one feels like it's going a little bit slower, but we might still be able to make it, because we're getting more time whenever we pop the planets as well, just not a lot of time. It's fractions of a second at this point. And I think it goes down whenever we get black hole upgraded. Like, the amount we get from each thing goes down. 500 trillion. Well, we are going to go supernova radius, and then we'll just start getting little upgrades back here while we can. This is our last upgrade segment. So now we're working on getting to 42. The nerds among you might recognize said number. Welcome to my sphere. But yeah, star mass is pretty much the main thing we want to be going for here. Star mass and supernovas. Lasers are nice to have. Moon boosts are kind of nice, just so we can reach more stuff at once. But as it stands, we want the screen filled with just novas and lasers and nonsense. Unfortunately, the comets orbit way out here, so I have to like dip out and waste some ticks just to grab them for the guaranteed crits. So we got you. We only got 200 trillion that time, which leaves me mildly concerned. There's our guaranteed crits on that. Let's go ahead and grab replacement rainbow one. I'm going to grab a replacement. Grab a replacement. Yeah, just keep ourselves on the auto crits pretty much as possible. And those are going to be essential for destroying stuff fast enough, but how close are we getting? We're not even we're not even getting halfway yet. Let's go supernova percent damage, I think. Yeah. And then we have the moon buffs floating around there. Those are relatively cheap compared to what we've been getting, so those are going to be nice to get. But yeah, I just need to dip out there and grab one of the comets every now and then, just so we have enough to actually kind of mess around with. Money is not the most important thing now. It is literally just mass growth. So we need to be destroying as many of the supernovas and as many of the lasers as possible. Obviously, we do still need a mass upgrade because we're getting blues still. Purples are... We need everything purple to really win this one. So... Let's go with... We're going to go with Breaker Speed first and then Breaker AoE. There's our mass one. That gets us up into... I believe that gets us into all purples. Unless I'm mistaken. But I will probably be grabbing that. We might just do 2 runs in a row just to get that. Yeah, just get rid of stuff as quickly as possible. Grab the rainbow comets. Yeah, towards the end, it is really just get as much rainbow and moon as you can at any one time. And hope for the best. Good luck whenever it comes to placement of these other pains in the ass. That was not enough. We need 700 trillion for that next mass upgrade. I do wish the moons actually gave me more damage too. But I don't think they're going to. Yoink. Okay, grab that. There we go. I should probably be ducking out there to grab these a little bit more frequently, because I am losing Comet every now and then, which is never a good thing. And yeah, we will struggle to get to... Oh, still not? Okay, one more round. Yeah, we're going to be struggling to get enough without, like, all the upgrades, so might as well just keep pushing it. But the extra mass helps out a ton, because that's A, way more money, and B, it's going to be way more in the way of causing the black hole to grow. Do I not have... There's another supernova. I was about to say, where's all my supernovas, my guys? Why are you no give supernovas? Okay. There's our next mass upgrade. Still no quintillions, but this should actually start getting us... Probably, if I had to take a wild guess, we're probably going to be sitting at... I would assume probably 450k per run at the moment. Maybe a little bit higher. think we're ever going to hit a quintillion per run. Or quadrillion, sorry. Quintillion is 5. Quadrillion is 4. Quadrillion comes before quintillion and comes after trillion. I am smart. I do wish the comets circled a little closer in on this one. So I didn't have to keep, like, right out to get them. 490. Close enough. Breaker radius scaling, and we'll do laser width just to start unlocking up here. These are going to be relatively cheap. Cheap. Jeez. Words. I got them. Supernova percent is, I think, essential for getting done, so that's probably going to be our next big goal, but I think we have another mass one up top to, like, pretty much guarantee we don't get these down here. Yoink. Yoink. Yeah, just grab them whenever they come close. We're actually spawning comets relatively quickly now. So I don't think I have to be conserving them. Though I guess it probably wouldn't be the worst thing ever to conserve them a little bit so we have it whenever we absolutely need it, but eh. Yeah, 500 trillion that time. So we're working our way up. There's another supernova percent. Another breaker damage, another laser width. The laser width is kind of expensive for what it is. I don't think it's as important as some of our other options. Okay, so we got you. Can we get another comet spawn? Yay, we got another comet spawn. I do wonder what triggers them to spawn. Like, what is it basing its percent spawn off of? Is it just per second? Is it per half second? Is it per something destroyed? Is it per X amount of mass? And we've already crossed halfway. So we're making decent progress now. So we're getting Pac-Man-y here. Let's go with supernova percent and speed scaler. There's our session timer. That might actually, session timer might just be enough to get us over. I didn't see how much it was to get it though. I will keep an eye out for that. If we need a certain amount, I might just come back in here and farm specifically for the session timer. This feels like the lazy strategy is literally just making circles and hoping we hit some of the comets on our way around. Comment, like, subscribe. There we go. Just leave a comment below. There is an emoji for comments. I don't remember whether it's blocked or not. I have some emojis blocked because there's common ones that bots use. Let's see. Yeah, it's cheap. Okay, and then the next one's going to be planets of stars. So we have more stars starting out. And then we should just be pretty solid to just not worry about anything other than possibly getting up to that quadrillion. Because that quadrillion pushes us to 100% Nova damage. Although, do we actually need 100% Nova damage? It's questionable. And just nab one of those as we're going by. And we're maxed out on moons on ourselves. We're maxed out on these other bonuses. So we might as well just keep going with the strategy that we're doing. Although we did not make as much of a dent as I thought we would. We're getting closer. We're Pac-Man almost getting that pill. Yeah, that's our next one. That's supernova radius after that. I think. That or we just go for and save up the quadrillion. We might, you know what, we'll just save up the quadrillion. Because more damage from it's going to be more important than bigger nova. Bigger nova just means it reaches everything instead of almost everything. Although it doesn't seem the Novas are actually able to really break anything on their own. Oh, and I didn't get a crit for a while there. Jeez. We lost it. I didn't get my spins to wins. Although it looks like we might actually just get it on this run. Yeah, we got it on this run without even getting all the upgrades. Tador. And we have beaten a game about feeding a black hole. We've unlocked additional game modes, which we showed off at the very start, and we can play the epilogue if we want. Do I actually have access to settings here? Let's go for light mode and see how that actually looks. Flashbang! Flashbang! Didn't even get enough of a reward to buy anything. Yeah, we only have 112 trillion. Did I accidentally click something? We'll continue on. That might just be an oversight. I just realized, yeah, that's actually probably an oversight. We probably didn't get the money we got for the final run going into the epilogue. Let me have my money from that one. Because we would have had probably a half quadrillion by then. And actually, it's not too flashy on the wrong decision. Light mode versus dark mode argument, anyone? But yeah, I prefer dark mode in 90% of things I do. Sometimes whenever I'm doing like websites and stuff like that, I will do a light mode design just because it fits or because I don't feel like messing with the standards, but it is what it is because that's what it is. Asteroids, planets, and yeah, we can just do... These are relatively cheap. I don't know if they increase. They do, but not a lot. That's not bad. But I'm going to go ahead and call this a video there. We've gotten it in about 2 hours and 10 minutes. A little faster than before, even though I'm just faffing about and talking about everything. But I enjoy this type of game. I find it relaxing. If you are making a game like this, send me a link to it. Maybe I'll get a chance to try it. There's a lot of them, but I want to try them. Keep gaming, have fun, peace out. This has been Alzorath. Bye.